Providence Television International, the game changer, taking you to the outer limits of television. The program Was Trending is sponsored by Paul Nosa Ogeho, proudly Benin, promoting good corporate governance.
Welcome to a special edition of the program What's Trending on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariva. You're welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, just to break away from the conventional for a little while, we'll come back to the normal thing, but I thought you should just tickle the fancy of our viewers. We'll discuss maybe some 2-3 issues.
Exactly.
And then we'll round up. So that's the format it's going to take today.
Exactly. And why it is actually special, Nigerians have actually been complaining about a kind of trend that has been part of what the Tinubu administration has come up with, especially as regards the issue of loans and Nigeria's debt profile. We want to look at the first story. Reps approve Tinubu's $516 million loan for Sokoto Badagry Superhighway.
Well, actually, this is a foreign loan.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, from Europe. It's a foreign loan. And I think what bothers people is the regularity of these loans. In fact, somebody jokingly said yesterday that these things are becoming, they're coming along on a fortnightly basis. In other words, every 2 weeks. Okay? And I don't think there's something to really clap about. Okay, because there are so many burning issues on the table. You have insecurity, you have inflation rates, you have, all kinds of problems really on the table. But you're building a super highway from Badagry to Sokoto. But they're saying, federal government is saying that to bring commercial benefits, commercial activities along that corridor. Yeah, but people have their doubts. Yeah, because we are still battling with one, Lagos, Calabar.
Exactly.
We're not even going halfway in that. Then we are starting another one. That's the worrisome nature of this thing. And I think a lot of people have said it rightly, that we need to step down on some of these loans. And yes, that's true. We need to step down on them, particularly foreign loans, because they come with a lot of interest. And that's why I think that the former minister, do you remember?
Yes, exactly.
Had to opt out the other day.
Yes.
That we don't have the capacity to service some of these loans. And another one has come in now. Exactly. So it's quite worrisome. It's quite worrisome. And why we living the debt profile for? And I think that's why many people, particularly political actors, are saying, look, we need to have a rethink about how we borrow some of these loans, because they don't come free.
Exactly.
Yeah, the future is mortgaged, the future of our children is mortgaged, and we must also think of the usefulness of the projects involved.
Exactly.
That's quite apt. We must think of the usefulness. I mean, if we are taking the money, for instance, to tackle the power industry, for instance, that would be more understandable. Because right now, as we speak, power has gone down very, very terribly in this country. Yes. And if power is enhanced, economic activities will pick up naturally. And again, who knows, if the loan has been approved now, the Senate also is going to approve, evidently. Now, when is the road going to finish? Because we have seasons, dry season, rainy season, and stuff like that. And I understand it's over 1,000 kilometers.
Yes.
When is it going to finish? Is it going to finish within the lifetime of this administration?
Yes.
Or even the incoming one? So those are questions, and they are very vital questions.
Exactly.
Whereas we can tackle an emergency situation, emergency in the power sector. I can imagine if that kind of amount is pumped into the power sector, we'll have a sure relief.
Definitely.
Yes, Nigerians will have a sure relief, and businesses will pick up, particularly the SMEs. They will pick up very steadily, and we'll be happy for it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's also been another source of worry. That looks as if anytime it has to do with loans, the Senate is very quick to approve.
The speed is astonishing. Yes. The speed is quite astonishing. If they attach that same speed to the energy crisis, I don't think we'll have problems in this country.
Okay.
When it comes to loans, within a short while, I mean, the loan was
So projected on Thursday.
on Thursday. It's not even up to a week.
Not up to a week. And
Up to a week, and it's been approved by the Green Chambers. So, and I'm happy that people are talking about this, really. It makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense that when crucial issues are involved, it's like nobody's interested. Yes. Particularly the issue of insecurity.
exactly.
Yes, and there's no reason, I've said it before on this station, that we need to declare state of emergency on two key areas. First, insecurity, and secondly, the power sector. Those are sectors, almost immediately, they need to be addressed forcefully. Yes, without looking back. They need to be addressed because these things hinge on our livelihoods.
Exactly.
Yes, without security, people will not go to farms,
That's true.
right? Without electricity, businesses will shut down. A lot of businesses have shut down because of electricity.
Yes.
Yes. And here we are. The powers that be, they are moved out of the grid. Okay? So we are left in a lurch.
Exactly, and that's why Nigerians have come out to complain that majority of these projects, that they can't see it affecting them positively, their well-being positively. So in the course of governance, you've always talked about leadership. Is it that the leaders do not actually know what to actually do at the right time?
Well, there must be some strenuous reasons for what is being done now, which I mean, people can fathom them, or maybe they don't even want to talk about it outrightly. But you see, the issue is you must prioritize. In governance, you must prioritize. What do the people need? That's why in the corporate world now, you talk about assessment needs. Yes, if you go to an institution, university, for instance, what do you need? Some will say they need laboratories. Some will say they need, we need water. Some will say we need all sorts of things. But even community development, needs assessment, that's what they call it, needs assessment by way of priority.
Okay.
What do we need in this country? And by way of priority, we must prioritize whatever we're doing. Yes, that is not a priority for us because it's going to take a long time.
Exactly.
We need to tackle projects that will bring relief in a quick term to Nigerians. We need to do that very urgently. And as I've said, two key areas.
Exactly.
One, insecurity is very vital. People are still getting killed on a daily basis. And then two, electricity is important. Look at the other day, we were told, and this is true, over 4,000 doctors in the last couple of years, they've gone to the UK. They have left this country, over 4,000 medical doctors. And we are just talking about doctors in the health sector. What of nurses? Exactly. What of physiotherapists and other essential personnel? We are just talking about the UK alone.
Yes.
What of other Western countries in Europe? What of Canada? What of the USA? These have become safe haven for Nigerians who are looking for the green pastures.
Exactly.
Yes.
Safe haven brings us to the next story. Nigerians have been complaining as regards, especially when it comes to governance. Is it politics now that is as regards the next election that we should be thinking about now, or the actual idea of governance? It brings us to the next story. Tinubu kicks off 2027 re-election bid as APC begins sale of forms.
The basic question to ask is, how much is involved? That's 100 million.
100 million.
100 million for one form. And I can challenge people on this. Yes, maybe there will be some proxies. They will buy forms just to be sure that there's competition somewhere. But he's the lone contestant, obviously. The president is the lone contestant. And he's not paying by himself. I think somebody has paid. His name is Honorable James Falike. Exactly. Yes, and other loyalists, they put money together to buy form for him. Yes, but you're right. I mean, why do we pay attention to that now when there are other issues on the table? That should not be on the burner at the moment. Yes, I know the election is important. 2027 is important. In fact, it's going to be a defining moment for Nigeria, but yeah, we can step down on that. We really can step down on that. And the money is too much.
Okay.
100 million from one person. From one person. Exactly. I mean, it was very scandalous during the time of Buhari. People like Mifile and the rest, they just drew this in from the drawer and all that. 100 million. Yes, people, they raked in billions in the process. And this is at a time when people are hungry. People are hungry, they are starving. There's starvation in the land. There's starvation in the land. Yes, and this thing should not just They should not be flaunted, really. They should not be flaunted.
As regards the 100 million, there's also this point of view that it is quite, if someone has spent 100 million to buy a ticket, and then it now goes into politicking, as in to be able to win votes, is it not a means that, give or take, as soon as he gets in there, he wants to recoup?
Well, that's for people who have not been in government.
Okay.
Yes, if you are coming in as a fresher, yes, it might weigh heavily on your pocket. So, yes, you are right. You look for ways to recoup. In fact, almost immediately you get into government, all right? I know what it means because I've been in government myself. So the issue is, if you are the chairman of a party, you want to come back, if you're a governor, the president, you want to come back. Look at what has happened now. I mean, the president is not going to dip his hand into his pocket to dole out 100 million. People are going to pay for him. The same thing will go for some other governors.
Exactly.
Yes. But what I'm saying, yeah, they have their right to contest. I mean, there's by law. There's no doubt about that. But the issue of the money involved, yes, I'm totally against it. 100 million. 100 million, you know what that can do for the economy, for some communities, what it can do, even for the military who are fighting on the front line. Yes, it can do a lot.
Well, since we're still talking about elections, let us, so many people, even before the elections, they're not really happy with the way that the next chairman is going about. What's your view as regards this?
Well, the case is in court, obviously, and I mean, from yesterday, for instance, we got to understand that the ADC and I think PRP, they are urging the Supreme Court to do it quickly, to fast track this, because the deadline is here already. Yes, and I don't know what the situation would be like if ADC or PRP, they are jettisoned. Okay, what that means is that INEC will not put it on the ballot paper. Exactly. Yes, and it portends a lot of things, which could be negative, by the way, for our political evolution.
Are you also of the view that Nigeria is gradually heading towards a one-party state?
Well, that's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. That yes, and in any case, I've said it. I said it. We had an editorial some time ago. We're talking about the need for us to have a strong opposition. That makes the process more robust. It makes the process more robust. If you have a strong opposition, that means the government in power will be put on its toes. Yes. And there's nothing to fear, really. There's nothing to fear. If you've done very well, you need a strong opposition to also tell you that you have done well. Okay? I mean, that's what the opposition is there for. They're not just to put down the government in power all the time. When they are doing well, tell them they are doing well. Okay? That's the beauty of it all. But to go on the lane of a one-party system, it's against the tenets of democracy, and it moves people toward dictatorship. That's what everybody's saying. Even the stakeholders in the system, not just political actors, everybody's talking about that. Okay? So, and that's true. We need to inform our viewers that yes, that's, I mean, it's not an option, by the way. Yes, it's never an option.
The next topic that we'll be looking at, or rather the next issue that we'll be looking at, is another issue, seriously causing quite a source of concern to most Nigerians. This issue of xenophobia. And when you talk about xenophobia, the first place that your mind goes to is South Africa. Let us go to the next story. Xenophobia. NIDCOM urges South Africa to protect Nigerians, black immigrants.
Well, I think we're the first station to really break the news.
Exactly.
Some time ago, when there was this attack on the Igbo indigenes in South Africa, Pretoria, and I think in Johannesburg. Why? Because they wanted to establish a kingdom, an Igbo kingdom in South Africa. And I thought that was odd, very odd. And I'm happy, though, that the Igbo Umbrella Organization talked about it. And I thought by that time, or a few days after that time, the whole thing will simmer down completely. But now it's rearing its ugly head again, because in the last few days there have been reprisals, okay, and there's been some kind of continuity in the attack from South Africa. However, let me say that the federal government ought to do more, yes, in terms of dialoguing with the South African authorities, because it can snowball into something else that we cannot imagine. It should not be left for NIDCOM alone.
Okay.
Yes, NIDCOM is the acronym for Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The young woman, Abike Dabri-Arewa, is handling a very tough issue. But I think it could be beyond her, really. This is the time when the Nigerian president should be talking to his counterpart in South Africa by way of diplomatic relationship. All right? I think that it's more, it should be more robust, all right? It should be more result-oriented, rather than the NITCOM as an organization trying to step in and all that. Because, make no mistake about it, it could leave South Africa and go to neighboring countries.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I think that at that level, at that diplomatic level, presidents of both countries should be talking to be sure that this attitude of xenophobia does not increase. Sometimes it does exponentially, and Nigerians will be the worst for it. Okay, they will be destroying properties, they will be destroying lives and things like that. And I'm sure that the Igbo leaders should also go to South Africa, not just to mouth it back home in Nigeria, because that's what they did. Yes, they wrote, I think it was a press conference or something, but they should make sure that they go to South Africa, the major cities in South Africa, Pretoria, Johannesburg, and maybe one or two others, to talk to their people. It's not enough to stay back in Nigeria. They should go to South Africa and relate to them more properly. If possible, some of the governors on the South should also go to South Africa and tell the people, look, you are giving us a bad name, a very bad image. They can do that, for goodness sake. And I think that must be one of the solutions.
Okay, are you of the opinion, because so many people have said that, why would Nigerians not come back to develop Nigeria?
So the point is leadership.
Okay.
I just talked about over 4,000 doctors living in Nigeria. Not nurses, not pharmacists. I'm not even talking about computer engineers. Okay? These are people who can make Nigeria work, but they are living in droves. Okay? So what that means is that if there is leadership today that cares about the welfare of the people, these guys in Europe and America will come back. I have spoken to many of them, and the question they ask me is vital. What are we going to do? What are we going to meet on the ground? There's insecurity, power is not there, the road infrastructure is not there, the economy is in bad shape, things are expensive in the open market, inflation rate is getting higher by the day, as it does by way of statistics from the NBS. So these are issues. And once all these things simmer down considerably, you'll find people running back home to Nigeria. Because in any case, they say home, everywhere you go, home is the best. But in this case, it's becoming a parody. All right. So we need to have a change of attitude in terms of leadership, to be sure that we will lead by example. For instance, one key area that one must not forget to talk about is the area of health. Look at our political actors, for instance. The question is, why can't they develop the health institutions in Nigeria? At the slightest headache, you find them running to Saudi Arabia or to UAE, to Abu Dhabi and all of that. At the slightest headache. Whereas we can have even renal centers for kidney failures. We can have them in this country. Okay? And of course, to cap it up, we can also have what we call health insurance scheme that is meaningful. It's not the kind of thing we are seeing now. Health insurance scheme where the layman, or rather the poor man on the street, can go to a hospital and get treatment. Yes, almost free of charge. We can do that. Nigeria is a rich country. A rich country peopled by poor people.
A rich country peopled by poor people. This brings me to our next story, that even the universities, which are supposed to be a place that you have the best of the best, they have now been infected with the corruption bug. Let us go to the next story. Some VCs investigated over inflated contracts, diverted students' fees. This is coming from the EFCC.
Well, many people are not going to be surprised about this. They are not going to be surprised because, you see, the university system has gone down considerably. Yes, it has gone down. I mean, actually, yesterday I was discussing with a friend of mine. In years gone by, we had people, they were almost like gods. Well, as vice chancellors, we had Professor Adamu Beiki here. He just passed on not too long ago. Professor Oshodi was here. He passed on. So Bio Baku in Lagos, University of Lagos. Professor Dike, yes, a great guy. Orisejolomi Thomas, Professor Shaya Audu, ABU. These are guys who were like, they were icons, really. I mean, really iconic figures. Yes, you can't replicate them. This is the problem. Now, you're talking about monetary corruption. What of electoral frauds?
Okay.
Our professors, VCs, most of them are VCs. They are involved in changing results and all sort of things. You know that.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't need to say it too loudly.
Exactly.
But that's what is happening. And the same attitude is carried into the system. So we must, they should be on the radar for as long as possible. Because, you know, the university is like a town on its own. That's why you talk about the concept of town and gown in some cases. Huge, very huge, with a huge financial outlay. Okay? So that's what it is. I mean, if universities cannot hold on strongly to their beliefs, to propriety, then it's unfortunate that...
really, really unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. The kind of students we are going to breed.
Exactly.
You know, in due course.
Exactly. Well, we could go on and on, but on this note, I will say, because of other programs, we'll have to stop this particular program for them now. But as usual, the CEO has a parting shot.
Yeah, before the passing shot, I will come back to that. Let's quickly take a word from a commercial break, as it were.
All right.
The program Was Trending is sponsored by Paul Nosa Ogeho, proudly Benin, promoting good corporate governance. Now, my passing shot today is this. Some time ago, I think about a week ago, I saw a young man. He waved across to me, really. It seems to me he knows me very well. He waved across to me. And what was he doing? He was driving the mini bus, commercial bus. Okay? And this young man is a graduate. Because I know him, he's a graduate. I think biochemistry or something.
Okay.
He waved to me. Obviously, what he did is save some money to be able to buy that little bus. Yes. And he was driving it along a major street. Meaning that he was not ashamed to do what he was doing.
Okay.
Yes. He was not ashamed to be seen behind the wheels driving a bus. Most of our youths are very arrogant and proud, unnecessarily proud. They cannot do things that can yield money, for instance. And that young man is eking out a living. Right. He lost his wife some time ago, that I know very well. He lost his wife and he's trying to bring up the children. And what does he do? This is a lesson for our young people. Yes. As long as what you are doing is within the purview of the law. Yes. It could just have gone into bad business. Yahoo, Yahoo, they call it, or whatever it is. But it didn't. It didn't. Eking out a living, driving comfortably in his own vehicle. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we're raking some money. All right. Our youth, particularly youth from this part of the country, they are either kind of hubris, excessively proud. They cannot do things. They are looking for some kind of funny jobs that they cannot get anywhere. They are not using their brains anyway. Okay, so I want to praise that young man. I don't want to mention the name, but I want to praise him. I like his tenacity, I like his courage, I like his determination, and it's a lesson for young people in this country.
All right, thank you so much. And for you, viewer out there, I want to say thank you so much. Until the next edition of What is Trending, I wish you a happy week ahead.